Welcome to HeroClix Tactics, where we're taking a look at the Powers and Abilities card that just recently got released. You're going to find the links below in case you are not aware of these releases. The new rulebook and the new Powers and Abilities card have been released, and I've been dissecting them. This is part 2 of a series I'm hoping will take maybe 5 parts for the Powers and Abilities card and to be determined regarding the rulebook. But anyways, let's get started here. Let's review the old wording compared to the new wording and see what's changed. This is the old wording. When this character hits and will deal normal damage during a close action, you may roll a d6. If you do, deal damage equal to the result instead of normal damage. Minimum result is this character's printed damage value minus 1. So that was the old wording. This is the new wording. When this character makes a close attack against a single target and hits, you may roll a d6. So right off the bat, they changed some of the wording. The old one does say close action, that you could use it only during, instead of doing normal damage during a close action. This one doesn't really care about the close action, just wants you to make a close attack. So anything that leads you into making a close attack can be used. You can use Blade's Claw's Fangs, which is very interesting. So right away, I thought about this character. Wolverine here is a character I've been trying to make a Fantastic Four team with. And so immediately he was the first one that came to mind because of this ability here that he has, the new Fantastic Four. Not only does he have Passenger 1, but only to carry with the Fantastic Four keyword, characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. He has once per turn when Wolverine is carried and placed adjacent to 2 or more opposing characters. After resolutions, he may make a close attack. And looking at the wording for the new Blade's Claw's Fangs, Wolverine works perfectly with that. When this character makes a close attack, you're not bound by taking a close, by having to take a close action beforehand. So it's going to be interesting to see this Wolverine kind of shred things up a little bit more, seeing as how Blade's Claw's Fangs is now compatible with his special power, his trait actually, not a special power, it's a trait. Moving on to Energy Explosion, and this is the power here that I'm actually also going to show you figure examples. Energy Explosion still did remain a range action, but let's compare the old wording to the new wording. Old wording says make a range attack, and all other characters adjacent to an original target also become targets. Hit characters are dealt 2 damage instead of normal damage. Again, I think it's just WizKids not wanting to I think make things too complicated. They want to make things easier for newer players to understand the nuances of Energy Explosion. But it remained the same more or less in the fact that hit characters are dealt 2 damage instead of normal damage. But because it's a range action, we're going to see how it interacts with some of the other powers that are not range actions. Let's keep going for now. Next one, Pulse Wave. Old wording says range. Have range. Okay. Improved targeting, ignores characters, and can make range attacks even though he's adjacent. Other characters within range can't use powers or abilities for this action. Make a range attack targeting all other characters, at least one of which must be opposing, within range and line of fire using their printed defense values. If more than one character is targeted, each hit character is dealt 1 damage instead of normal damage. Going to the new one, other characters within range can't use powers or abilities for this action. So far, everything has been similar. Next line, make a range attack targeting all other characters within range and line of fire. That's where it starts to deviate from the differences, including at least 1 opposing character. It still makes the same stipulations though, using printed defense values for each targeted character. So far, it's just a wording that's been rewritten, but it essentially means the same thing. If 1 or more characters were targeted, each hit character is dealt 1 damage instead. Now, this is the part where maybe some confusion may start to arise because it doesn't really specifically say. For example, in the last line of Pulse Wave on the old power is if more than one character is targeted, each hit character is dealt 1 damage instead of normal damage. It doesn't say that anymore. So as a new player, you're just supposed to assume that if I target one, I deal normal damage. But if I target one or more characters, I think they mean to say if more than one character was targeted. I'm pretty sure, because I'm looking over at Quake and the same thing. You know, why would it say each hit character deal 2 damage instead of normal damage? So I'm guessing that's what they meant by it. It's not really clearly explained with the 1+. I figured it would have been 2+. But regardless, it's less wordy, similar to a lot of the other powers. Let's go to Quake. Quake. Old power says close. So you had to use a close action to activate it. Knockback. Make a close attack targeting all adjacent opposing characters. If more than one character is targeted, each hit character is dealt 2 damage instead of normal damage. This one says knockback. So it doesn't require a close action anymore, which means that it will be compatible with anything that says close on it. So if it says close or if it doesn't, it's confusing. I'll see if I can make a better diagram at the end here to kind of illustrate in case my point's not getting across. So it says Quake, knockback. When this character makes a close attack, they may target all adjacent opposing characters. It doesn't say targeting all. It says they may target all adjacent opposing characters. Okay, so that's interesting that they give you the choice now, and I can kind of see why, because Blades here is very specific in that when this character makes a close attack against a single target and hits, can actually be combined with Quake, because this one says when this character makes a close attack, they may target all adjacent opposing characters. It says they may. You don't have to. And if one or more characters were targeted, each hit character dealt 2 damage instead of normal damage. So this wouldn't apply. So I'm going to choose one target for my Quake. What happens then is that it will activate Blades because I made a close attack against a single target and hit. And I can replace that damage with 6. Why would that matter? Why don't I just use Blades? Well, Quake right here grants you knockback. And now that it's easier to knock back characters. Yes, and I understand that you're still limited to the standard knockback rule, which is now 3 squares, which is fine. It's just an opportunity there to not only try and hack away at an opposing figure, but also knock him back and maybe hopefully knock him back towards your friendlies. Get some more attacks in there. Moving on, super strength. So it's exactly the same. So you may be asking, well, how did super strength really change? Objects, regardless of whether they're light or heavy, only do 1 damage. So super strength, they'd get a slight decrease in power. Super strength, this will allow you to still pick up heavy objects. If you're planning to pick up those objects, just take someone with super strength that can actually pick them up and lug them around for you. Whether or not that's better, I don't think so. Personally, I always try to go for more damage. But so for now, super strength, you're going to be ranked in my list anyway, in the lesser of powers. Incapacitate, this is probably the worst one. This is probably the power that took the greatest hit. The old wording says close/range. Make a close or range attack. Hit targets are given an action token instead of normal damage. After resolutions, if a hit character already had 2 action tokens, deal them 1 penetrating damage. No longer the case with the new incapacitate. When this character makes an attack instead of normal damage, you may give each hit character an action token. That's it. No more penetrating damage. And since pushing damage is gone, adding that second token with incapacitate now seems a lot less useful. Incapacitate was already one of those powers that was kind of already teetering out of existence because the prevalence of Indomitable was everywhere. So taking away pushing damage in the game, and on top of that, weakening incapacitate seems kind of like a double whammy against incapacitate. I guess unless I see it maybe in a 3-target incapacitate figure, I wouldn't be happy seeing this power. Sorry, incapacitate, I hardly knew ye. In an effort not to overwhelm you with information, I'm going to continue the rest of the attack powers in a separate video. Remember, I'm trying to make these videos that you're able to watch them in one sitting. And I also don't want to overwhelm you with the vast amount of changes that have taken place in the game. And this will give me time to actually show you some of the helpful graphics. Hopefully they'll be helpful for keeping track of which powers interact with each other. You're more than welcome to pause it, or I am also going to make these available in image format on my website on casualclicksin.com. I'll make sure to put a direct link in the description below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you get notified when the second half of the attack powers on the powers and abilities card gets dissected, and that way you're notified and don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching.